afternoon. We are live. It's a Thursday special edition of the Blue Plate Special. Special because we are broadcasting beyond Wisdom Harbor today. We're broadcasting on all the platforms because we're going to do a year in review of the protocol conversations. We have Monica Early here with us today, and you'll see how we do this. We're actually going to do a show within a show. So once a month on Wisdom Harbor on the Blue Plate Special, we do one of these protocol conversations, and then that ends up edited and on the site. And so parents and kids, students, teachers, grandparents can all use this as a guideline. And so today we thought, hey, we're going to do the year in review, and you'll get an idea of what we have talked about, and you can go on Wisdom Harbor and see every single one of those things.
It's a lot too.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Is anybody listening, Matt? Anybody with us today? I don't see anybody. We got you. We got a studio audio. It's one person in the studio audience. Sheila Hanson from Springfield, Missouri, home of Bass Pro Shops.
Oh, fun.
Near Reed Springs, Missouri, where growingdeer.com.
Oh.
Yes, yeah, Dr. Grant Woods.
Okay.
And so, Sheila, thank you for being with us. Now there is I don't even know. I mean, that's like an email thing. Somebody, an Instagram thing from Southern California.
Oh,
so,
good.
Hi, but I can't discern your name in that. And then One Delicacy, hey, from Atlanta. I'm assuming that's Instagram too.
Yep.
So
Cool.
Bob Woodall. Bob Woodall's listening live. He's in Gulf Shores. Yeah. He says, guess who I'm having dinner with tonight?
You?
Me.
Oh.
Yeah. He and Carla are gonna have dinner. Polly and I are gonna meet him, and
That'll be fun.
I love Big Bob. And Bob's a contributor with Wisdom Harbor too.
Right, exactly.
Big Bob's Cooking. Shelby Beavers, hello from South Alabama. Now, your last name, Beavers, Adam's girlfriend, last name is Beaver.
Okay.
So, and she lives in South Alabama too. So Shelby, I don't know if you Beavers ever get together with a beaver, but Dave Larder from Phoenix, where it's hot, but it's
hot.
a dry heat. Here, he said in Phoenix we celebrate any cloud cover. By the way, we're not celebrating today.
We got a bunch of clouds we can send their way.
Man, I mean, it really hit yesterday, and it's supposed to be today, but so far it's kind of sunny.
Kind of spotty from Florida over
It's
here.
sunny. It's sunny and hot, but at least it's 100% humidity.
Yeah.
So,
That's one thing for us that they don't
Night
have.
Award from Grove, Oklahoma. Dave Timmons. Dave says, thanks for getting me out of being Margie's yard boy for at least an hour. We could just keep talking, Dave, and get you out of it for the rest of the day. Let me see the name. Go down just a little bit, Matthew. Charlie Marlowe. They're at the Pentagon. Watching. Charlie's a financial coach, and he's there at the Pentagon. Every Tuesday and Thursday, there's evidently an office in the Pentagon that they do lunch watching the Blue Plate Special.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, you've got the former chief of protocol of special operations here today with Monica. So let's get going. And here's what we do. We kind of stop, and then we introduce the piece, like protocol conversations, like it's going to be on Wisdom Harbor, and then we'll just do it right here in front of you. And then you'll get to be able to see on wisdomharbor.com, you'll be able to see the edited version when that comes out. And you can say, hey, we watched them construct that.
Absolutely.
So
That'll be good.
So, all right, we're ready?
Before we get started,
Matt's got to
I'm
adjust
out of
your
focus.
camera. You're out of focus. That's what your husband told me. last time
Yeah,
saw
I
him.
bet he did.
Earl said, hey, she's out of focus today.
I can only imagine.
We ready? I see that look on Matt's face, and that face is, I'm not ready, but if you would quit asking me, are we ready, I would
I
get
would be ready.
sooner.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the look on Matt's face right there. All right, we are ready. All right. Welcome once again to, what are we doing? Protocol Conversations. Sorry, I've only done this like, hey, I don't know.
2
All right.
years.
Good grief. Okay. Welcome once again to Protocol Conversations with former Special Ops Protocol Officer, Chief Protocol Officer, Monica Early. And now she is Wisdom Harbor's Chief Protocol Officer. So we get together once a month and we go over a detail about manners, etiquette, and getting along in the world. These soft skills that everybody's hiring for these days and that people are really evidently lacking. But we have corralled Monica. And so every month we have a protocol conversation. And today we thought we would let you guys in on how we build this by we're doing kind of a year in review. Mm-hmm. And we're just going to review the ones we have gone over this year and
right.
A couple of comments about them. But that way you'll get to see what you could go on Wisdom Harbor and see the whole thing. So
absolutely.
Anyway,
It'll be fun.
And you can find, and obviously watching on Wisdom Harbor, you can see which ones you want to see.
Exactly.
All
and
right.
I think after going through these, everybody should just get on Wisdom Harbor, become a member, and then they can see the whole past 2 years.
Truly.
Yeah.
And the Pentagon is watching today, and God knows they need some man. So what have we got, Monica?
So I just went back and pulled the two most important things that I thought about.
You're not going to list them all?
I'm not listing them all because then you got.
I thought we were reviewing them all.
No, that would take a couple hours to review them all.
Okay, all right. So you got the two that you felt the most.
Exactly, and then I wanted to see if you pulled something from each month that you remember.
Okay.
So the first one we've got is Zoom calls. We talked extensively about going through Zoom calls.
Yeah, there's like new manners involved in how we do business now.
Exactly.
I mean, Zoom calls, that wasn't a thing.
Not until COVID.
Not until COVID.
And now I know a lot of people, and I still do a lot of them in business.
I do too.
It makes sense. But my two important things were dress appropriately.
For your Zoom call. Even your Zoom
Exactly. Because you don't want to get up and those crazy videos that we saw where some guy got up, forgot to turn his video on and off, and all he had on was his underwear.
Yeah.
He was dressed in the front and then underwear underneath.
I mean, right now,
Yeah.
I could be. No, I have on jeans. But people don't think about that, or they think, oh, we're only going to see me here.
Right. Exactly. So then my second most that I thought was important was to use a virtual background so you're not distracted by what's behind people. Because I know in some of them I've seen there's cats and dogs walking around in the back, and if you're not paying attention, you could get yourself distracted by things that are roaming around. Or what's that book they've got on the bookshelf back there that you can't really focus on, but you want to know what it is.
Yeah.
Or a TV going in the background.
Or a clock.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I see this a lot because we have, we do podcasts, and maybe a little more than half of them are done by Zoom. Mm-hmm. Because Dave Ramsey up in Nashville, and he'll hop on Zoom, do a podcast.
Yeah.
And so, But of course, Dave has a professional background, you know. But most of the people we talk to, Matt has to say, "Hey, would you mind moving your camera up a little bit, or you mind getting that clock out of the way?"
Exactly.
You know.
That's right.
Or, "Hey, it looks like you have flowers growing out of your head," you know.
Yep.
And it's important not to distract. You know, we try, and especially if I'm doing, like, I'll do virtual speeches for companies.
Right.
Sometimes, you know, where it's like half price of me driving in, and that started in COVID, and that's kind of kept up.
Yeah,
you know, people
that's
go,
good.
"Yeah, half price, and we get him live," and so the thing is, back with the background, we try to do stuff like this. I mean, once you see those oranges, you've seen them.
Right.
And once you see the four Thunderbirds, you've seen them. It's sunset, you've seen it.
Right.
And so, no reason to keep looking. But like you say, if you put a dog or a litter of puppies up there,
That's right.
or some political statement or some cartoon or something,
Absolutely.
you know, and as somebody who's been on stage a lot in my life, I know how tenuous concentration is, and people can lose it in a heartbeat.
Absolutely. So I felt like, you know, between seeing somebody in pajamas versus dressing appropriately and the background, I think that helps them to be more professional and pay attention. The people can pay attention more.
Yeah, yeah.
So
You know, my Zoom trick, because it's hard, you know, when you are on Zoom, it's hard to not look at the big picture, which is yourself.
yeah,
It's hard not to look at the screen instead of the camera.
right.
And so what I always do is I reduce that picture of them, okay. Which it's already small, and I reduce it as much as I can, and then I position it right under the camera.
Okay.
Because I know I'm going to be looking at them, and so this way it looks like I'm looking right into their eyes. Whereas we've all done Zooms with people who are like this,
Right.
and it's hard to have a conversation with somebody who's doing that.
That is true. That's very
Are
true.
you having a hard time having a conversation with me? But you know what I'm saying? I mean,
Exactly.
And so
Exactly.
I try to make it where it's, you know, where it's right there. Because it's,
No,
you know,
that's a great idea.
Uncle Sam wants you, not Uncle Sam wants you.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Hey, that's one we can add.
Yeah. Add that one.
Yeah,
Add that one
we'll add
to
that
the
one.
permanent list.
That's right.
To the
That's right.
permanent record.
Absolutely.
Which I wonder if there really is a permanent record. You know, I was told in junior high school about a permanent record. This might go on your permanent record. And it was like, oh my God, this is going on my permanent record. You know?
Who's got that now?
We're not just going to call your parents about this. This is going on your permanent record.
Right.
And, you know, I can see getting turned down for a job at NASA. See here that
We have
you
your
talked
permanent
excessively
record.
in the 7th grade. It's like on your permanent record.
That's right. They did say that.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah.
cool. Yeah.
It's going on your permanent
Absolutely.
record. I wonder who keeps those records now, since they were permanent.
The school librarian probably has them all. Never know.
Okay, what else?
All right, we got tipping.
Ooh.
I remember a long conversation about this, about tipping. And so who to tip? Do you remember who we said that we should tip?
People who are doing something extra and they're making your visit worthwhile.
Absolutely.
They're
Like the
providing-
wait staff
Yeah,
at a
they're providing
restaurant.
something valuable.
Right.
And who should we not tip?
We should not tip professionals or doctors or lawyers
Or goobers who ask for a tip.
or the McDonald's
Right.
staff that
Yeah.
turn around now you go and you order yourself on the kiosk and you pay for it, and all they do is
hand it
bring
to you,
right,
and put their payment, 18%, 20%, 23%.
Right.
And it's like, where did 15% go?
right. So, interestingly enough, I had coffee with a friend on Monday, and she had a card and I had cash. So, using the card, it got flipped around to her, and then the tip thing pops up. And then when I got ready to, and of course, she felt obligated to to give a tip, which I tried to tell her, you don't have to. They're handing you the coffee.
Have you ever watched Wisdom Harbor?
I know, that's the what I should do. Have you ever watched my tipping section? But she did tip, and then when it came to me paying for my coffee and a bagel, I gave the cash, and that was it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it drives me crazy. Circle K,
Right.
buy your stuff with a little kiosk thing on Circle K. And you know what I'm expecting to happen soon?
What?
Gas pumps. Would you like to leave an extra 5% for our cleanup crew?
Yeah.
Would you like to leave an extra 10% for, they're always asking. In fact, I went through a drive-through the other day, and the lady asked me, and the charge was like $9.72.
Did you want to round up?
Yeah. She said, would you like to round it up to 10? I'm like, no. Why don't you round it down to 9? And she just kind of laughed, and I said, seriously? If you're going to ask me to round it up to 10, why don't you round it down to 9? If you're just trying to do easier math, do 9. Golly, that drives me crazy.
Oh, no. Yeah, that is true.
And I always think of a friend of mine, this was literally 25 years ago, and the World Cup was being held in America, and a friend of mine had a World Cup hat. And we were standing out waiting for the car to be delivered at the Marriott World Center in Orlando. And my friend had on his hat, and this kid, like 8 or 9 years old enough to know better, old enough that if I had done this, my parents would have jerked a knot in me. But this kid comes up and he said, hey, that's a nice hat. Can I have it?
Oh.
And my friend, I never will forget my friend's answer. He said, no, but thanks for asking. But it's like, that's kind of like asking for a tip.
Yeah.
Both our boys are in situations where they do tips.
Right.
Because Austin plays in places that they put the tip bucket out there, and because they don't pay much, and so they're hoping that the people who stop and listen will tip, and they do.
Yeah. That's good.
He often makes more money from the tips than he does the payment, which will let you know how much.
I understand that.
Is not.
Right.
And then Adam, of course, working on fishing boats, working on ships. And I'm always curious about that dynamic because Adam has very definite charts in his mind about who tips and who doesn't. And of course, all his buddies work on boats.
Right.
And so they all talk. And so it's a pretty definite deal on who tips and who doesn't.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'll ask him sometimes, I'll say, who'd you have on the ship day? And he'll say somebody, and I'll say, no tips? He said, like, nothing. Or I'll say, how'd y'all do today? He said, kind of hard day. We're chasing them, just really. And I said, "Did they tip you?" He said, "They tipped me great." You know,
Yeah.
once they saw he was working. You know,
That's
so.
right. That's right. But it's the service.
Yeah, it's the service, and Adam does. You know, he is the personality there. You know, he told me one time he was working. There was another deckhand on that boat, and I asked Adam how he was, and he said, he needs to learn that we're not in the fishing business, we're in the people business.
That's right.
And I knew then, I was like, man, that's an adult answer.
Absolutely.
A mature answer.
Absolutely.
So because he knows what he's doing. You know. You know, I think about these protocol things, and I go back to, and I just see this in my mind, is the one that you did about walking into a room. I just thought that was fascinating because most parents, other than behave yourself,
right,
don't really give much instruction about walking into a room.
Right.
And yet, that can make you or break you in business.
Sure can.
I mean, it can make or break you socially, you know. And it's one of the things that I look at in terms of that. Are you an illuminator or a diminisher? You know, do people feel illuminated when they talk to you? Do they feel illuminated when you walk into the room, or do they feel diminished? And a lot of that has to do with whether there's a difference in a "here I am" person and a "there you are" person. We all know people that walk in the room, it's like, "Here I am." You know, because some people are like, "Oh God," you know.
Let me move.
Yeah, "Here I am." And then there are people who are like, "There you are." That they illuminate our lives. They make our lives better. They make us feel appreciated, make us feel valuable.
Absolutely.
But the "here I am" people, those are the oddest. That's the odd group to me, because I don't understand how you can be that way, not see yourself, and not see yourself reflected in people's actions and reactions and in their eyes and on their faces. How do you not see that?
Absolutely.
Because I think some of the people, you know, there was this guy. Let's call him. I'm trying to think of a name, and nobody I know. Let's call him Lucas.
Okay.
And Lucas was one of these "here I am" people, and this dude thought he was so great, and just had no idea that people were just like, And I'll give you an idea how people felt about Lucas. If you said to one of a group of people that I hung with back at that point, if you said, "Hey, you want to come to a party Friday night? A lot of people are going to be there. Adolf Hitler's going to be there. Jeffrey Dahmer's going to be there. Lucas is going to be there." People go, "Lucas? Really? Lucas is going to be there?" I mean, that's
how bad he was.
Yeah.
Wow.
But the walking into the room stuff, and the eye contact, and you had directions, which way to head around the room,
right.
and
Absolutely,
and what to
and
look
it works.
for. And it works.
It does work.
It works.
It does.
I mean, I love these protocol conversations. I love these because some of the stuff I didn't know, and you've taught me some stuff, and then some of the stuff that I knew, now you're teaching me why it works as it does, which that is very curious to me to understand, because when you understand why something works as it does, you can spot other ways of using it that other people aren't.
That's right.
Because they know how to do it, but they don't know why it works as it does.
Absolutely.
And it's like anybody can harness the power of a principle. Anybody can understand the principle, but when you understand why it works as it does, like you can understand the principle of gravity in about a 60-second conversation. But until but it was the people who began to understand why it worked as it did that created airplanes and suspension bridges and all these things, that because as we continue, and we're still unfolding the principles of gravity, trying to go to Mars.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, for sure.
In 2 years, what was your favorite conversation?
Ooh. In 2 years, I don't remember the first year so much. I looked at them
now,
when I was doing.
You've got tons of things written down.
Well, this year. Just this year. So.
Okay, but you've got tons of things written down. You only told us 2.
Well, I know, but I was trying to think of what was my favorite. But we'll talk about the number 3.
Okay.
How about intentionally quiet? So some people would laugh about that, but when we talked about being intentionally quiet, that meant putting all your electronics down, getting out, doing something, and if it started with 10 minutes a day, was just to have quiet, whether you're a praying person, go pray, whether you need to just lay out your day in total quiet. It helps because it puts your mindset in a better attitude if you start out with some quiet. And I was telling Matt that day that we did that, I left and I turned my radio off and I drove all the way home in quiet. And I was shocked that I could even do it, for one, because I said, well, if I'm going to talk about it, I know I can do 10 minutes or 15 because I try to work that in every day. But the fact that I did an hour and a half and just things that you think about and what you need to do and did you do that right? Could you have done that better kind of thing? It really makes a difference. So I think, to me, that just makes you a better person, which helps with your manners and anything that you have in relating to people. So that was our intentionally quiet time. And we had lots of time lots of things that we went through to talk about different quiet, but I just pulled off just to disconnect with your technology. So have you tried that? So you're intentionally quiet right now.
It was funny to me because the quieter I was, the more you kept going. And that's why we're intentionally quiet. And I think to turn off your things, and that gets you started on being intentionally quiet.
Right.
And every time I wouldn't say anything, and you just kind of okay. And
I was about ready to go to the next
more about being intentionally quiet. Okay, what's number 4?
Number 4 is thank you notes.
Oh yeah.
You know how I prefer a handwritten thank you note, and so that's still my top number 1, especially if you went to a job interview or you went somewhere for the first time, to dinner the first time. You might establish a relationship with somebody from here on out, and sometimes after that first thank you note.
It's thank you notes are so rare.
They are
now that I have to say, when I get a written thank you note, 2 things happen. One is I immediately think more of that person. Immediately. And the second thing is I immediately think less of me because I know that I should do it more than I do. And
Right.
Because I know the impact it has.
Well, and then I do say that an email thank you is better than none at all.
Better than none at all.
Right.
But
a handwritten one, I'm telling you, even the people that say, "Oh, it's not important," it does. It makes them remember the person the next time their name comes up.
I've got a thank you note I've got to write, like right now, the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. So just do it.
I know. I've got the stationery in there on my desk, and I haven't. So,
Yeah.
Cindy Westfall, if you're watching this, I have a thank you note that is coming to you. You know, Paul Westfall, the NBA Hall of Famer, died a couple of years ago, and they found a completed book that he had written a little at a
Oh,
time
wow.
in his stuff, and they have published it. And I will admit to being a little like, okay, you know, you found something by your husband or your dad, and you're gonna, but man, this book is great. It's
Wow.
called A Tale of Two Seasons by Paul Westfall.
Okay.
And it is truly great. So I guess I've been kind of letting it settle while I think about what to write in my thank you note to Cindy. But
Well, and for those out there that need to just thank somebody for a job interview or something like that, it doesn't have to be long.
No.
It can be short.
But boy, I tell you
So-
what, you will separate yourself from the crowd.
Yes, absolutely.
So what's
Okay, number 5, being a good American traveling overseas. We did have a long discussion about that.
yeah,
That lots of good and bad on that.
lots of good and bad.
However, to remember, before you travel, look at the country's customs and their courtesies and any taboos they have, so you'll be aware.
That's where that's the episode we told that story.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So everybody go to Wisdom Harbor and listen to that one.
Yeah.
And then also, the State Department has information on all countries, whether it's a good time to travel, if there's any travel warnings or anything like that. State.gov has great information on foreign countries.
You know, the Magic Kingdom is now on a do not fly order,
Oh, is it?
as far as I'm concerned. Do not attend unless you have. You know, Dave Ramsey says about buying a boat. He said, "Here's how you should decide if you can afford a boat. If you can pile up the amount of cash that you're going to use to buy the boat, just pile it up,
Right.
and set fire to it and walk away and never think about the cash again, then you can afford a boat." Man, I kind of think about, I don't know, I think about that in regards to this. In regards to Disney.
Yeah.
If you can burn a pile of money and walk
Yeah.
away and not think about it, then yeah, go to Disney.
Go to Disney. Yep. It is expensive.
Oh my God. It's just,
Everything.
what is the word for taking advantage of somebody? Predatory.
Oh.
Disney is a financial predator. I just made that up. You can quote me on that. Walt Disney World is founded on financial predation. How about that? How's that? Now I'll make it stick even more. Jones told me that. You say Jones told you, people are like,
That is-
whoa.
you got to be careful.
All right, what do we got next?
So we got diplomacy. So we talked a lot about that too, mainly because in the government, there's not much diplomacy, good diplomacy going on right now. People just don't want to listen to each other. And I came up with this definition of the art of negotiating and managing relationships between individuals or groups by maintaining peace, resolving conflict, and fostering harmonious relationships. So I think we can all agree to disagree, but we ought to be able to talk and not say what you think is good or bad and you should not do it. We should have just great diplomacy with just ordinary people.
Yeah, the diplomacy within a marriage or within parent-child relationships is huge too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely.
I mean, most of us will not be elected to public office, and so we won't have to worry about being diplomatic in that area, even though it doesn't seem to me anybody elected to public office gives a crap about diplomacy anyway, because
Right.
I think they are made differently than you and I are made, Monica.
Right.
You know, if somebody's upset with me, I can't go to sleep.
Right.
I mean, I can't sleep. I got to solve that and ask forgiveness or forgive or something.
Right.
I can't sleep. So I can't imagine. So we end up with leaders who really, they don't care what anybody thinks about them.
Right.
I mean, to exist in a country where half the people hate your guts, you would have to be the kind of person who, I don't care.
Right. Exactly.
And so I always think, what kind of person doesn't care?
Yeah, it's hard.
And yet, that's who we have. Because anybody who cares what anybody thinks about them or cares like that, they're not gonna run for office.
Right. Exactly. So we just have to, we at a lower level can think about it in our realm.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the diplomacy falls into civility. I think they go hand in hand, and that was one of our months, was treat others with respect and consideration, and actively listen to different opinions.
Right.
I love a good debate, and I want to know if somebody's thinking different than me. I want to know why.
Yeah.
It's not that, and I care why people think, but anymore, it's hard to get somebody to open up to say why they don't like something or why they do like something because they think somebody's going to get upset. And I think that messes up great debates that we used to have in high school, or even.
I thought a great example of a debate, or at least a political debate, was Tim Walz and J.D. Vance. I mean, those guys are so totally opposite, and yet both of them showed, diplomacy. They showed civility. And
it can be done.
It can be done.
Right. Exactly. And I think even if the leadership of our country or leadership of our companies or anything can't do it, at least at our levels, we should be able to do it.
We should be able to.
Right. So I think this was one of the areas where I wish young people would start questioning things, and if you ask why, little kids ask why all the time.
Right.
And I wish as the kids get older, they would continue to ask why.
Most people have the why knocked out of them by 7 or 8 years old because mom or dad says, hey, stop asking me that. You're asking me that about everything, so just stop asking me why. You ask me anything you want, but don't ask me why.
So it's your fault, huh?
Why not to ask you why? But I think why is how you get to the bottom of the pool. That's how you get to the foundation of thought.
Absolutely.
Because you keep asking why until you can't go any deeper.
Right.
And that's where you're at the bottom of the pool. Mm-hmm. But by not asking why, we're just leaving thinking on the table. We're just accepting the thinking that got us here.
Right.
And the thinking that got us here is not going to get us out.
Right.
Not going to get us anywhere else.
Exactly.
So
So,
what
yeah.
else?
So we talked about Ubers and taxis.
That was interesting.
Yeah.
That
And
was interesting.
I think so. My two favorite spots were the safest and the most comfortable spot in an Uber or taxi is the passenger right, because you can see, especially if you're by yourself, you can see the driver. You're always on the side. If heaven forbid, you had to get out quick or something, you're on the
And
sidewalk
and
side.
so if I'm the driver, my passenger's sitting right there.
Correct.
And that's
Catty corn.
safest because, as every hunter knows, that's a bad angle to shoot. You can't. I saw this painting of a hunter up in a tree stand and had his rifle, which is, if he's sitting like this, the rifle's pointing that way. 'Cause that's how you got it, right? And then over here's a monster buck, and he's going like that, and the name of the painting is Bad Angle Buck.
That's the truth.
But that's the truth. That's why if you don't want a taxi driver to shoot you, you
They sit over there.
Sit over there.
Yeah, that's something else we got to add, huh? And then when you leave or you make any adjustments to heating or vents or anything, open those vents and take all your trash with you. Whatever you brought, take with you and leave it.
Lord, I'm not usually in one that long.
Well, it depends on where I've had to go. I've been in them for up to 30 minutes. So,
Yeah, I have too. I'm a lot, but I'm figuring,
well,
what am I going to do that's going to generate trash in
well,
30 minutes?
if you brought a candy bar or a protein bar or something to eat, you got trash. You blow your nose, you got trash.
But it's not trash I'm going to have to clean up because I'm not throwing it on the seat.
Well, some people do, though. That's why you have to write things like this.
There you go. Yeah.
Yep. So, okay, we're getting there. We're covering the year pretty fast. So, weddings.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
The weddings
my
you didn't want to go
God.
to.
Oh.
So, RSVPs is one of my pet peeves because either you're going or you're not going. That's to any event, but mainly to a wedding.
But see, weddings, there's a difference in the response of a husband or a wife. And you can say, either you're going or you're not going. And the wife is thinking, we're going, aren't we? We're going.
Yeah.
And the husband is thinking,
well, you can go.
Happen. Maybe something will happen. And
So
we won't
let's
have to
wait.
go.
Yeah.
So let's wait to RSVP, and you end up waiting until you don't do it.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was a fun conversation. And then don't assume you can bring someone or the kids unless there was a +1 or kids' names written. Because recently I've seen lots of people that don't want you to bring a +1, especially if you're not married, because they're concerned that +1 won't be your +1 in 3 months. And so we've got pictures of things. They've really gotten picky about this.
Really?
Yeah, they have.
That's the reason?
Yeah.
I would think that their reason would be so I don't have to pay another $65 for catering.
Well, some of them think that, but I was listening to an interview from a wedding planner a couple of days ago, and they were saying that some people are saying that they don't want that +1 there if you're not married, because that +1 may not be around.
Well, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
If you're not married.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
So, and then kids, recently it's been a big thing with no kids, a destination wedding or a wedding that.
I think a destination wedding is rude.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, there's some bit of rudity in bridesmaids got to pay for their own dresses because I mean, hey, I've been in a position in my life I couldn't afford $150
Yeah.
if I was going to wear a dress. I couldn't afford it, And so, but then the destination weddings where you're saying, hey, we're going to the Bahamas.
Yeah. If you want to be there, come on.
Yeah, well, I want to be there, but I
No.
don't necessarily want to spend $3,000 to go
Right.
to your wedding.
Right. Those are usually smaller. So,
Do you think I'm a jerk? Do you think I'm a jerk because I think destination weddings are rude? Just don't ask me to yours. And number one, I don't really like weddings anyway. And number two, why would I want to take 3 days and a couple of $1,000 to go to something I don't really like anyway? That's my thoughts on destination.
it was the
weddings.
same way the month we did that too.
Oh, really?
I knew
Did
that
I
was
say that?
coming back.
Oh.
You didn't use that example, but you were fired up about being a non-wedding person.
Yeah,
So,
and Austin, he's 25, and so I guess people are getting married at that age a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, dude, do you do anything besides go to weddings? I mean, is that like your hobby now?
it seems to be with that age group. It sure does. It sure does. So last but not least, we talked about soft skills in customer service.
That's a big one.
It is. So two of my favorite was giving customers immediate attention. Whether you can get to them right then or not. If you're with another customer, you can at least say, welcome in, I'll be with you in just a minute.
Make eye contact.
Right.
Hey, I know you are here.
Right.
I'm busy, but I know you're here, and I will get. The worst thing in the world is to be in a restaurant and does anybody know we walked in?
Right. Exactly. And that needs to be taught, and it's just not being taught.
Or with wait staff in restaurants that go in and out, serve another table, and never look your way.
Right.
And yet they'll come up and say, is there anything you need? Well, no, not now, but if you could just kind of keep an eye on me, I might need something, and I'll just kind of flag you down. But, if you don't ever look at me.
You got to keep looking around your section. In a retail store, you have a section, you just keep walking or eyeing or whatever.
Right.
Absolutely. And then when you do get to make contact with that customer, you give them the undivided attention.
Right.
You don't try to look at another table or another customer unless you just need to say, I'll be with you in a minute. Show that you want to sell whatever they're there to get.
Yeah. And they're there to serve. I mean, if there's anything that can make people feel less important, it's probably listen to them talk and then looking around and.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I can tell you, I have walked out of a retail store, because nobody came to the cash register or was around or anything.
I've done it a bunch of times.
And then I have bought things because there was an attentive person there.
And then go in places where nobody's there. I've used that opportunity to rob them blind. Just steal everything I could get away with, because they're not seeing anything anyway. I mean, they're not watching. They don't care. Just go into Lowe's. You can't get help. Put a freezer on your back and walk out. I mean, they don't care. They don't care. What do they care? They don't care enough to ask you if they can help you.
You'll be buzzing as you go out the door.
Yeah, and you walk out with a freezer on your back and the thing buzzes and you turn around and go, what was that for?
Yeah.
I'm just going on to my car. But yeah,
Oh, my goodness.
It does drive me crazy.
But there's some more on that month talking about, giving the attention you need to give and teaching that to your employees.
Yeah. I just walked out. You know who is not, I mean, we can tell the truth on this show. You know what is not like it used to be? Is Cracker Barrel.
Oh, really? I haven't been in a while.
Yeah, well, the reason you hadn't been is because they aren't like they used to be. I walked out of one recently because I went in, I got seated by a guy who didn't say, thanks for being here, we'll help you in a minute. Didn't say nothing. Mm-hmm. Just kind of walked me to a table and put the menu down and walked back. And I sat there for 4 or 5 minutes. Nobody ever looked at me. I said, I'm not doing this.
Mm-hmm. And you got up and left.
Got up and left.
Wow. Yeah. I know. It makes a difference. It makes a difference.
Polly and I were in some restaurant somewhere, and it was like a diner kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And Polly spotted the health department rating. People put that up.
Right.
And it was like 83. And she said,
did she want to leave?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And she said, but we had already kind of eaten. And she said, I don't know that I've ever seen an 83. I don't know that I've ever seen anything that low. And so when the waitress came over as an old lady, and Polly said, what's the story on that 83 on the health department rating? And she said, oh, honey, don't worry about that. That's just flies in the kitchen. I'm like, oh, good. Oh. We hadn't been back there.
I wouldn't either.
I was in a Mexican restaurant one time. I don't know how we got started on that. Now, say this is a fork.
Okay.
All right. This is the handle of the fork. These are the tines of the fork. And I asked the waiter, I said, I don't seem to have a fork here. Could you bring me a fork? And as God is my witness, he handed it to me like that.
With the tines in his fingers?
With his hand on the tines. And I didn't know what to say.
You should have said, I need another fork, please.
But then, then what's he going to do? Go over behind the bar and spit on it and then bring it back? But I went and got one myself.
Yeah.
I got it myself. And I don't like it on flights when a flight attendant will put your drink down like this.
Oh, I know. Yep.
And you think, if I say something, she's going to go around the corner and spit in it.
Yeah.
And so I always try to look and say, where were her fingers?
So you can drink it.
How fast do germs move? I mean, I can't quit thinking about that. Do they just like when they put it down and I pick it up, are they racing over here to get to where I'm going to put my mouth? Or would it take them a year to get over there? And I don't really know the answer to that.
They're there. Yeah. So there we have it. There's a year.
A year in review. Wow.
So we start fresh next month.
Start fresh.
Yep.
Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, this is always fun.
I love doing this, and I feel like, I hear so much when I'm out and about, hear from people saying, we love the protocol conversation.
Good.
So,
yeah.
So
it helps us all.
Yeah. So appreciate you guys being with us. Next month, another protocol conversation with WisdomHarbor.com's Chief of Protocol, Monica Early. Okay, so now we're through that, and now we're back to the Blue Plate Special for a minute or two.
Yeah.
So thank you for being here.
Yeah, this is always good. I had fun trying to figure out which ones I wanted to, looking through my computer and trying to figure out which ones I wanted to include. And then I started laughing because I remember you getting, wound up about certain ones. The wedding was
The wedding.
especially.
Oh, my God. The wedding.
Oh, it's too funny.
So when you're a great laugher. You're a great laugher. I love to make you laugh. And that's the comedian coming out in me, I suppose. I love, doing that.
That's right. That's
Who
right.
says this, Matt? Chris Larkin. Chris Larkin.
He's on there?
He says, holy cow, two of my favorite people. Glad to see you're getting expert advice from one of the best in the business. Chris Larkin. Okay, I got to
love
say,
him.
Chris, I've gotten something on LinkedIn from you that I cannot click back on. So will you please, contact us here, wisdomharbor.com, or Dave Timmons says ditto on Cracker Barrels. But Chris, somehow get me your number. Get me something. Because I love Chris and Stephanie.
I know, I do too. I haven't seen them in a while.
I haven't either.
I see them on Facebook, but that's about it.
That was great seeing that name up there.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Tammy Nance, her dad was a preacher, said always the way to ruin a good Saturday was to have a wedding. He was a preacher. And notice he didn't say to have a funeral. He said the way to ruin a good Saturday. Anyway, sales clerk said she'd give me a price check if I was buying the product. God. I would say, well, I guess I'm not buying it, am I?
Or maybe she would give you something off.
I'm not gonna check the price. I'm too freaking lazy to check the price unless you're gonna buy it. Oh my God. Marcy Taylor said that Monica looks good in green.
Oh.
As a redhead, I wear a lot of green too.
Thank you.
What about me?
You're in green too?
No, I'm in blue, but somebody, isn't that blue?
No, that's green. Isn't that green, Matt?
That's blue.
I would say it's more closer to green, but it's right in between. It's it's like
It's kind of teal.
turquoisey teal.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. It looks a little greener to me.
Thank you.
And he thinks it's green.
I love
I
it.
swear I put this on today thinking it was blue.
You're
But
not
obviously,
blue.
obviously, if it's green, I don't look good in green. Because if I did look good in green, she would have said, Monica and Andy, you both look good in green today. But she didn't. Yeah, that's blue. She said Monica looks good in green. Not Monica and Andy look good in green. She said
Thank
Monica,
you so much.
Marcy Taylor.
Oh.
Okay, I've been slighted here. All right, time to go on about other things in the day. So we'll see you on Tuesday. I'm looking at these clouds gathering. Last night, Nate Bargoski was here
Okay.
and at the
Right.
amphitheater.
Right.
And
Did you go here?
comedians made me nervous,
Yeah, I bet.
and I told Polly when I walked in, it was storming. I mean, it was storming, and SB went. She
Okay.
and some of her buddies went, and they had to go to their cars for 45 minutes.
Oh, no.
And then back into, I mean, you're going to evacuate thousands of people to their cars
Yeah.
while it's raining. And most of them have parked so far away, they'll be soaked by the time they get their cars.
Right.
But I walked in, I told Polly last night, I said, the second most overwhelming feeling that I have right now is being glad I'm not outdoors watching a comedy concert.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, the second? I said, yeah. I said, what the first overwhelming feeling? She said, yeah, that you're not doing it.
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
Exactly.
I mean, anytime I used to look at those dates and I would go, outdoors?
Mm-hmm.
No. I mean, for comedy, that's That's pretty hard because even in good weather, you got a bird flying over, you got,
That's right.
dog barking over there, and comedy, somebody got to pay attention. I mean,
That's right.
If a band's playing, they just clap when they get through with their song, and then another song is a bird. You don't really care.
Yeah.
But comedy.
Yep. You
So
sure do.
anyway,
Well, glad you weren't there.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad they finally got it in though.
Oh, wow.
So I haven't heard how it went. I'm sure it went great. Nate is hosting the Emmy Awards.
Oh, wow.
He's been tapped to host
That's
the
awesome.
Emmy Awards.
My daughter and son-in-law, their close friends, got sick and offered them the tickets to come over, and they decided not to go because they were afraid of the rain. So, and she said, we can't have an umbrella out there.
Right.
So I'll have to let her know that good thing you didn't come,
Yeah,
because you
yeah.
would have been sitting in your car.
All right. Thank you for being here. You look great in green.
Thank you.
You look great in green.
I'll wear green again.
Okay. All right. And we'll see you guys Tuesday.